Welcome back, math people. It's lesson 57, time finding the least common multiple, which I think is a horrible term. Let's see, what do you need today? You need your notebook for keeping track of the notes so you can use that on the test. You need some homework paper. Could use a calculator today, but you don't need to. Need a MacArthur New Testament commentary on the book of Ephesians. For grammar. What else? Pencil. Yep, need a pencil. So let's get with it. Let's talk about a couple of the skills that you're going to need to use to find least common multiples. I think it's a horrible name because when you think just reading it, you think least common means like they don't have anything in common. Two people are like, what's we have? We're just the least common everything. So I think that's a horrible title for this. Really, you want to think of it in terms of either the smallest, the lowest, or sometimes the first common multiple that two numbers or two terms, two factors share. Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit today about prime number factorization. If you don't have a list of prime numbers, you need one, and you probably need it framed on the wall. I've got mine right here, all the way from, 2 is the first prime number, up to 997. So that's always something that I'm staring at, so I can break things down and use a sieve of Eratosthenes, or use some way to break a number down into the basic building blocks. If it's a composite number, it's something times something times something equals this number. Otherwise, it's a prime number, and it's only divisible by itself and 1. So show you examples of that with numbers, and then with I guess they're polynomials, with terms, monomials, and then we'll do it with things inside parentheses. Okay, those are 3 things that we'll try to cover here that will help you get your work done. First clue, or the first kind of strategy that you're going to want to use for finding least common multiples, or the smallest common multiple, is to look for the greatest number of times each factor is used in each number, and then you're going to combine those factors to find the least common multiple. So I'll do that on the camera, or the other camera, here in a few minutes. But let's just look at first, if we're going to take the least common multiples of these two numbers right here. Okay, there's a couple of ways that have been taught. Maybe you've heard of like a factor tree or a factor ladder. Maybe I'll demonstrate both of those. But I typically like to just pick the first two numbers that come to mind that you can think of that multiply together. Like when you're doing your times table, what times what is 24? And maybe the first one that clicks with you is 6 times 4, or maybe it's 8 times 3. Probably not 2 times 12, but that is true. So I go start off with 6 and 4, and then I can just break those smaller numbers down into their parts. So 6 is 2 times 3, 4 is 2 times 2, and we can see there that we got 2, 3 times, and 3, 1 time. And I like to write it like this. Actually, I think it's helpful for seeing those exponents, for picking out how many times something was used in there. Otherwise, you got to like count them up and keep them in order. 36, I think 6 times 6 is 36. And so we got 2 and 3 and 2 and 3. I've got 2 twice and 3 twice. Now, the rule up here says that we're looking for the greatest number of times each factor is used. So it has 2's and 3's in there. And the greatest number of times that 2 is used is 3 times, and the greatest number of times that 3 is used is twice. So you just take those two things together there, 2 cubed and 3 squared, which is 8 times 9, and there's your least common multiple. Whoa, you can see that down there. There we go. Least common multiple of 72. We could also just have gone through this and started making a list of multiples, but that's such a pain in the neck, and you really don't get to your answer very fast, and then you're working with really big numbers. So you could sit here and go, well, that's 48, and then 72, and then 96. Is that enough? I don't know. 36, 72. Okay, there we go. There's our first one. That's our first common multiple between these two numbers. Okay, so that's how we might just do it with numbers. Let me go over to the camera and I'll give you another example and show you if it's big numbers like that, how to find it really quickly, the least common multiple, that is. Okay, here we are over at our TI-84, and we got this little math button here. That's our friend. And then if we go over one category to number, you can see down here, here's our least common multiple. And so way to do this, kind of the cheater way, this is kind of lame because these aren't complicated numbers, not really big either. Is to type them in and put a comma in between them, and I'll tell you the least common multiple of those two numbers is 72. Okay, well, this is all good and whatnot, but this one only lets you do two numbers at a time, I believe. Let me try it with three, but I don't think it will do that. I don't think it likes that kind of thing. Yep, too many. Too many. It will only do two of them, so that doesn't help with the next problem, which asks you for the least common multiple of these three numbers. So you can start going through the multiples of these things, 11, 22, 33, 44, 55, etc. But you're going to have a problem here because the number for these ones is actually pretty big. So I would not suggest doing that. Let's use the method that we were just talking about. Let's find the factors of these things, each one, and then use each one the most times that you find it in each number. So 11 is a prime number, so its only factor is 11. 12 is 4 times 3, so that's 2 squared and 3. And 18 is what? It's 2 times 9 or 3 times 6. If it's 2 times 9, that's 2 times 3 times 3. So there you go. And we notice that we've got 2s, 3s, and 11s. And 11 occurs once, and 2, the most times 2 occurs is twice, and the most time 3 occurs is also twice. So we're looking at 4 times 9 times 11, which is 396. 99 times 4, 396. There's our least common multiple. I find this way pretty easy. You can break these ones down pretty easily and then just list all of the numbers that occur up there, 11, 2, 3, and 11, and then the greatest number of times any of them occurs in any one term. So that's a lot faster for finding that first one. But now we're going to move on to something one step up, and that is when they have variables with them, when they have A's, B's, and C's. It's basically the same type of situation. And so I'll just put my notes up here for this section here, and we see that with variables or with algebraic expressions, we're going to try to pull apart all the factors. And this may look silly, but sometimes you just have to see it. So it took 10a squared c to the fourth, and I pull it apart into all its factors. There's its number factors, and then here's its variable factors. A squared is a times a, and c to the fourth is c times c times c times c. And then we're trying to find the least common multiples of these two right here. And so we break this apart into 3 and 5, and then 3 A's and 3 C's. So I've gone down here and I just listed all the different factors, 2's, 3's, and 5's, and then A's and C's. Those are the only thing in there. And then we're finding the greatest number of times each one is in there. 2's only in there once, 3's in there once, 5's in there once, A happens 3 times, and C happens 4 times. So the least common multiple would be 2 times 3 times 5 is 30, and then A cubed and C to the fourth. Okay, that's all we're doing, and that's the easiest way to do it with variables, because that gets kind of like, I can't wrap my brain around multiples of this thing here and that thing there and finding something that's the least common of those. Three terms with variables, it looks something like this. This is one of the examples out of the book. And so we got 6 and 2 and 8. If we just start with the numbers, we got 2 and 3. We got just 2 and 2 times 2 times 2. And then I split up all the P's and S's and M's and just listed all those things. So we've got factor of 2. Greatest number of times that 2 is in there is 3, where you get 2 times 2 times 2. So there's part of our answer is 8 times something. 3 happens the most times once. So there, just put that in there. M happens the most time 3 times in the last term. P happens the most times twice in the first term. And S happens the most times 3 times. And that one's in the first term. So 8 times 3 times m cubed times p squared times s cubed. And there's our least common multiple. Our least common multiple of 3 terms. Same exact process, except we throw some letters in there. But we're going to pull everything apart and look at all the pieces and then put it all back together. Last thing here is with polynomials. And this is where maybe your brain will start to hurt a little bit. But if we're looking for the least common multiple of these things, everything in the parentheses is a factor. And everything inside there is a factor. Once we know what x is, this is just going to be one number. Okay, and if we knew what x was, that would just be one number that we could break it down into pieces. But everything in parentheses means multiply anyway. So we're thinking about if we were going to multiply them together, that it'd be okay to leave an answer like this because it's been factored out. And oftentimes in math, this is the way that you want to end up with things. You want to end up with one factor in parentheses multiplied by another factor in parentheses. So parentheses always means multiplication. You probably should write that down. Okay, so this is one way to do this, is that you can go ahead and do the math. You can go 3x times 2x. Yeah, but it's better just to leave it that way. Okay, so here's another problem right here. We've got these two. Now, the one thing you do have to do is you have to see if there's any factoring you can do out of this. There was no factoring you could do out of this. Both pieces in there were just all by themselves, and nothing could be taken out of both of these that was the same either. But here on 7x squared plus 21x, you have both a 7 and an x in both of these pieces. So that can be factored out. And we got this times this, so we're all good. And over here, we can factor out a 6 out of both pieces. So 6 times this, we're all good. Now we can see that we have 1x plus 3. We have a 2 times 3. We have an x. And we have a 7. So here are all our factors. 2, 3, 7, x, and x plus 3. And we want to use each of those, the greatest number of times that they're used in the terms, and combine them. So once of each of these, 2 times 3 times 7 times x plus 3, you can leave it like this if you'd like to, or you can expand that thing. But this is perfectly fine because this includes all the different factors that we used to make that up. Here's one more example. First, factor as much as you can. And here we can factor out 12 and x because it's a common factor for both 60 and 24. And then we're left with this stuff. And over here we can factor out a 9x squared, and we're left with this. These two are the same. That only happens once. It's not squared. It's just to the 1 power. So we have whatever 12 breaks down into, which is 2 times 2 times 3. And 9 breaks down to 3 times 3. So our factors are 2's, 3's, x's, and 5x squared plus 2's. We use them the most times that they're used. 2 twice, 3 twice, x squared once, and one of these. We put them all together, and there's our least common multiple for those ones. This is a skill that we're going to use in conjunction with other things, and so it's kind of one of these basic skills that we learn right now that we're going to employ more often later on. Okay, but use the same exact process, break it down into small little pieces, and then put everything back together. That's how you do least common multiples.